Okay, so this is a training video for the BUNN coffee machine. First thing that'll happen is before the church service, the guys that do the setup outside, they're going to come in and turn this power switch on. If you happen to get into here before that power switch is turned on, turn it on because it does take a while for this to heat up. Okay, so that's the power switch right there. Okay, when you get in here, this dial will be on the night setting. You'll need to turn it all the way up to the day setting, all the way up. All right, the next thing you're going to do is take off these and set these to the side. And then you're going to also take off the two top things and set these to the side. Okay. The coffee pots are stored in here. You're going to need both of these items. One goes in the top, and then the other one is a decaf, labeled decaf. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is as you set these down here, make sure that you have the decaf over here with the decaf pot. Otherwise, you're going to get the coffee in the wrong side. Very important. Next thing you're going to do is set these off to the side, and you're going to grab two hoses that are in that box over there. You're going to hook up one hose here. You're going to hook up another hose on this side. And you're going to put the hose in. You're going to put the hose in. And now what we're doing is we're draining, by clicking this down and clicking this down, we're draining the hot water that's already in there into the pots. This is the hot water from the last person that used the machine. You always leave it filled with a half setting of hot water so you don't burn the elements up in the device. You see the steam coming out? That tells you it's hot, so it's good. The next thing you're going to do is grab the filters. You only need two of these. So grab two, put the balance back in there. Okay, next thing we're going to do is put the coffee filters in each one of these two pots up at the top, okay? So we're going to take these off, set them aside, and then you take the strainer part out of it, wrap the filter around it so that it's even, and you're going to set this right inside there, like so. From making the coffee, we're going to make some decaf coffee, and we're going to make some regular coffee. The coffee cup holder here is 2 cups, but we're going to put in 3.5 cups per side. So when I fill these up, I go, so that's about 3 there, and then this, well, that's about a little less than a half. So you're going to put a little bit more than what I just put in there, and that should do it for decaf. You're going to do the same thing for the other side, which is regular. Okay, coffee is stored down here, airtight, both decaf and regular coffee. The rest of it is on the side. Okay, so put the caps back on after you get the coffee in. And then you're going to swing this around and make sure that this back spot is directly underneath the water spout, and that this one's in the front. For that the water spout is directly over this intake. Otherwise you'll make a mess. You make sure that this water spout is directly over the middle of the intake, otherwise you'll make a mess. And then make sure that this is on half, if you're doing a half, which is what you do most of the time, or full, this switch here, make sure it's on half. Then you're going to click start just one time, and you notice the water is going in. Make sure that this is up, otherwise you'll be draining water into your pot, which you don't want to do because you want the water to go into this to brew. Like over here, I have it down because it was draining the water that was already in there into the pot. So that goes up once those are drained. Okay, once that's done with the water on one side, you're going to swing it across to the other side. Again, make sure the water spouts are set over the openings. And then again, you're going to click start. The brewing is just about done. You can see the water level is pretty low in there now. Okay, so the indicator will turn brown with the color of the coffee as it's brewing. So the brewing's done because the water level is out of this. So this is full of hot water, steaming hot water, which will burn you. It's keeping the pot hot, getting ready for the coffee. With the original water, I usually drain it out. Now, if you're not strong enough to do it this way, don't do it this way. So you can drain it out like this. You can see the steam coming up. So never keep your hand in the front of this, or you will get scalded. The other way you can do it is you pick the pot up from there, set it off to the side of the sink, and then let it drain this way. So that's the other way to do it. It takes longer. All right, so the coffee has been brewed. Stick the hose back in after you drain the water out, and then let the brewed coffee go into the pot. Okay, for some reason, over the years, this puts out less water into the pot down below than it used to. It used to fill it up and some. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a little extra hot water and I'll add it to the top of this. That way it's brewing through and it will come out at the bottom as completed coffee as well. That way you have a full pot rather than a not quite full pot. Okay, remember I just put water into this, hot water from the hot water spigot over here. And you'll notice that this is not even yet full, but the coffee, if you look up here, this is all complete. If you look down into there, there's no more water left in there. So you could have added more hot water than I did to fill up the pot. Okay, so we're done with the decaf. Make sure that it says decaf, and make sure that it's decaf up here, and make sure that you put the decaf into here. So make sure it's 3 spots are all decaf. You're done with this, and you're going to add the top to it. Spin it closed. Put the top to be closed. And then you're ready to put it wherever you want to go. Okay, for the regular side, it's the same procedure. Once it does its brewing, we're going to drain it into the pot. Next thing we're going to do is some cleanup. Take the top off, put that in the sink. Both decaf and hot side do the same thing. We're going to pull this out. But you're going to want to get a rag because it's going to be dripping hot, hot, hot water. You're going to pull this out of it, set that in the sink. You're going to go over to the trash can, and you're going to dump it. And then this goes to the sink to get washed. Same for the regular. Okay. All right, you're going to wash these up a little bit. So use some water, use some soap, a brush, get them all washed out before you put them back. Okay. This is hot, so be careful when you're working on this. But coffee grounds sometimes get down into here. If there is, you're going to need to wipe them out. But it is extremely, extremely hot, hot, hot. Those coffee grounds will eventually get into your coffee through the hose, but it will make a mess in here sometimes. Okay, now we're going to add water to this bun to make sure that it doesn't burn an element up, so that you can leave it with water in it. So we're going to turn this to the side again, make sure that that's all the way over, make sure this is lined up, and you're going to click the half again, and the water goes in. You're going to pull the hose off like that, set the hose aside, and then you're going to dump a little bit of this water out, because it'll get the last remaining out as that fills up at the top. You can dump out a little bit of this residual that's in the tank. as you're filling the pot up, because you want only clean water left in there. So now your riser will show only clear water. If for some reason you need to drain the tank before you brew the coffee and you've already heated up your pots, you can get the long hose out, put the long hose on it, and put the other end into the floor drain and just let it all drain into the floor drain.
This is the clear hose compared to the coffee hose.
Okay, Sunday mornings when you do coffee, you're also going to need to put hot water out for tea. This is the device that you put it in. Pull this out, set this underneath here, and just fill it up. Okay, on Sunday mornings, make sure you get one out that's labeled hot water, because sometimes people will put coffee into these and then the hot water will taste like coffee. So we make sure you get the hot water one out, because this is for tea, for the coffee time. Okay, there's a device inside that you got to make sure that it's in here, because this is what makes it pump. So make sure you put that in correctly, and then just snap it down, and then it'll work. Okay, remember how I was telling you that you have to have clean water when you finish, and you want get rid of the rest of the coffee that's in the pot before you do that. So sometimes I'll put a little bit of hot water in there, and then I'll drain it out to start with, and then I'll fill it up, make sure that's lined up in the back, lined up here, and then fill it that way. When the water gets into this glass indicator, it should be pretty clean, rather than how I did it before, where it comes up a little bit cloudy and then you drain out. This way it'll come in there clean in the beginning. So once those are filled up, that's going to be hot, hot, hot. Be careful. Put that to center. Once you're done complete with everything, make sure you turn this power off to the off side, and make sure you put the dial around to the night side. Don't spin it all the way to off, just put it on the night side. That way it's a little bit warm, so it's faster on the heat up the next time somebody uses it. Add the caps and the little covers. Voila!